everyone. Welcome back to Spiked Coffee and Sarcasm. We are episode 3. I'm so excited that we're actually doing episode 3. Episode 2, at the end, we said we were going to talk about... almost forgot. I'm Van. Forgot to introduce ourselves.
I was just going to say that. And who are you again? I'm Chris.
I'm Van.
I'm Chris. And so what were we going to talk about? We were going to talk about the infamous the fight junior year in high school. I almost said junior high.
I was going to be like,
our
wow.
Junior year of high school.
Yes, our junior year of high school. Our fight that
was
pretty
so
much
pivotal.
Changed, yes, that changed our friendship tremendously. I know you said in episode 2 that if we had not had this fight, we wouldn't probably be friends now. Like, we wouldn't be doing this right now at all.
I 100% feel that way too. I really feel like, not just this, of course, but I think that you and I, at the rate that we were going before the fight, like everything that led up to the fight, had that not happened and we just continued to have this strong love-hate towards each other, like 1 minute friends and the next week enemies, I think eventually after high school we would have just parted gone our separate ways. But because of this fight, it was a moment of clarity, and it took the whole summer after that. But excuse me, I think that this is a good topic.
Yeah, several months of not talking to each other and hanging out with other people, and but we'll
self-reflecting for sure. Yeah,
for sure. So I think that what I would like to do is, because we haven't really talked about this fight since it happened, I don't remember any time where we said, hey, let's talk about that fight we got into. Like, it's never been a conversation that we've really had. I think it's something that happened. We moved on. Things are better. We just didn't talk about it. We just have not talked about it. And that's kind of crazy to me. But so I kind of want to get your take on the fight and how you remember it and how you remember it going down. And then I want to do my take on it and see what the differences are and if we remember it the same way. Okay, so.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so then I will go ahead and just launch into the story that I have told everybody that has ever asked, hey, have you ever been in a fight? So I'm always like, well, this one time.
Yes,
and
I do that too.
As you know, I grew up with just a sister. It's just her and we had the sibling fights, but I've never been in a true fist fight until that day. Mm-hmm. So what had happened, the way that my version, or the way that I remember it happening, was I know that we had been fighting for a very long time, at least a week or two before that, where we were barely speaking. And even, we did have some classes together, but we really weren't talking. And so I had a friend that I was spending a little more time with and a little less time with you. And I was standing in between the two, the two hallways, the quads. I don't even remember. Was it between D and E? And I was waiting for... Right? I was waiting for her to come out. And so I was standing there, and all I remember first is you walking up, because we had just come out of the same class together. So I left the classroom first, and I was standing there waiting, and then you walked up and did this, like, army turn towards me. And you gave me that look like, oh, I should be afraid here. And I truly was afraid here. I mean, let it be known that I was scared, because that look on your face, I'd seen it before, but never really directed at me. It was usually more directed at your brother right before you tried to kill him. Uh-huh. So anyway, you, I don't know if in that moment something snapped and it was time. And I think at some point we both felt that way, but I think that you hit it before I did, and then it was no backing down kind of thing. So at that moment, you grabbed me by the throat, and you were like shaking me, and you said, why are you talking shit about me? And I feel like well, the way that I remember it is I kind of pushed back, like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do this. And I said, I'm not talking shit about you. And you said, you called me a bitch. And I said, you are a bitch. And then right after that, it's kind of unclear. I don't exactly remember what happened, but I do know that I didn't want to fight. And I felt like it was getting to that where it never happened before, but it was getting there. So I kind of tried to turn and walk away. And the next thing I know, you punched me in the back or somewhere in my upper back. And all I remember saying to you, Van, is turning around and feeling like my face get red. And all I remember saying is, and I specifically remember having my books in my hands and that I had like a little tiny white purse. It was like, 3 inches wide hanging on my arm. And I remember throwing it down and throwing my books down and saying, you want to kick my ass, bitch? Let's go. And that's it. I lunged, and then the cat fight was on. I'm sure that I hit you in the face at some point, and your glasses came off, and then you got me back, and you grabbed my hair, and then it was like that whole cat thing. And so I don't remember everything after that. That's the only thing. It just became like a girl fight. So then the teachers came and I came up and got my head up from being, I was stuck in a down position trying to, swing my arms up above my head while my head was stuck down. And then I just remember after that standing, face to face with you, and we were both upset. And by this time there was a crowd, of course, and there was this, one of the girls kept pushing either you into me or me into you. I can't remember that point either. But I do remember them trying to keep it going. And then the teacher came out, split us up, and then they called the security guards and they walked us up to the office. And that was pretty much after that happened, and they decided our fate, that we were going to suspension for 3 days. You had to go home because your glasses were broken. And on the way back to the room, I found the lens to your glasses on the ground, and they were scratched. And I didn't know at this point that you were going home, but we had that next class together. It was with Coach Ford. We had study hall together. So I walked to the class, and when I walked in there, I walked up to the coach and I said, here, when Vanessa gets here, give her this. And I gave him your lens. And Kathy was in that class too, I think, and one of the girls that I was friends with. Anyway, she was in that class, and I think she started the whole Rocky chant, and that lasted about 3 seconds. And yeah, so that's how I remember it. And it's an interesting, the way because I'm sure that it's completely different for you. So it will be interesting to hear what your side is. And you're right, we never have talked about this in full depth.
No, I honestly think this is probably the first time we've told our versions of it together. I've told this version of this story to many, many people. Like you said, I have said, when the question comes up, have you ever been in a fight? Yep, just one. With my best friend.
And guess what?
Our junior year in high school. Yep. So my version is fairly close to yours. I don't remember what happened in the class before and why I got angry. I don't remember that at all. But I do remember walking out and feeling angry, and I was going to walk right past you, and then something, I don't know my crazy gene or whatever you want to call it, came into play, and I turned around. Now, I don't remember it being military style, but I'll take your word for it because I couldn't see myself.
It probably wasn't. It was like you were gonna walk past me, and then you just stopped and turned, and it was not necessarily Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A hut hut. No, it probably was, because I can remember thinking about it. I can remember walking out and I was angry and I was just going to walk past, but I stopped and I turned around, and I don't know if I thought I'm going to grab her face. Like, I don't remember my thought process at that time. I probably didn't have a thought process. And I remember walking up, and I don't think I grabbed your throat. Let's not make me too much of a badass here, because I'm really not a badass.
Not either.
No, I think I grabbed your face, like under your chin, like with my hands, like grabbed your like your cheeks. You know, like a parent would to their kid. You know, like listen to me or whatever. And I remember that. Yeah, and I remember looking at you and saying, like you said, why are you talking shit about me? And the way I remember your reaction being, I don't remember what you said to me. You probably could have said, I'm not talking shit. But I think at that point, I was so angry that I don't remember what your reaction was. But what I remember is, and I was really surprised because I did not think you would react this way, which is probably why I thought it was a good idea to do it in the first place, because I never thought you'd react this way. I remember automatically you just threw your shit down and said, let's go. That's how I remember it. I don't remember you like trying to walk away or anything like that. I just remember you throwing your shit down and saying, let's go. And I was like, oh my God. That was not the reaction that I thought. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're fighting.
You know what, though? That was like years of building up. I mean, it was building up. It was all those years of the love-hate thing. And you may be right. I feel like because I was scared too. I never expected you to ever come and put your hands on me I mean, as angry as you were, I never thought that you would.
That's never happened before. Like, our fights were always just verbal. Like, we would say mean things to each other to hurt each other, but it never was a physical thing. Like, we never hit each other. You know, it was never anything like that. So I think it was probably shock on both sides of us. And then it was like people were watching and we knew people were watching. So
then we had to follow through. It became peer pressure at that point. Yeah.
I do remember it turning into a typical girl fight, pulling hair. Yep. I think we both got a good punch in the face. My glasses did break. I do remember that. I do remember the girl, she pushed me because we had broke apart. Yeah, we had broke apart and we were standing there just looking at each other. I think we were both crying at that point. And she obviously didn't want the fight to end. Like, she was enjoying what she was seeing, I guess. And I don't remember who it was.
I do.
And she, well, we're not going to name any names.
Right, I know.
You can tell me later.
Okay.
And because I want to know who it was, but you can tell me later. So I remember her pushing me into you and saying something like fight or hit her again or something like that to like
and
provoke it. And then
like she just kept doing it. I remember her. It wasn't just once before the teacher finally came out and stopped it all. It was 2 or 3 times that she did that, and it was very like, really, okay, we're done now. Yeah. We've already had our freak out moment. Let it go. Yeah.
I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, I remember going to the office. I remember being upset. I think I was more upset not necessarily of everybody seeing it, because I didn't care about that, but the fact that I just had a fight with my best friend. Like, what just happened was kind of my reaction. And I know we were both crying I know we were both crying.
Yeah,
I know I was. I remember crying.
One of the biggest things for me was being worried that, oh my gosh, this is my best friend, and how is this going to affect our friendship? Because obviously this is like the last thing.
Is it going to be over?
Yeah, and I did think that.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't talk after that. After that school year, we went the entire summer and the first month into school, and
Yeah.
it was our senior year, and we had the very first class together, Hero, and I remember going specifically to our teacher and saying, "I don't like that girl. I will not work with her." And she went, "Let me just tell
Too
you."
bad.
She pretty much leveled me at that point. You know,
Yeah.
like I thought I was going to walk in there and say, "I'm not doing this." And she walked up to me and went, "You are. You are going to work with this girl if that's what I tell you to do." You know, it was at that moment
Well,
that I thought, well, you either beat them or join them kind of thing. If you
yeah.
can't beat them, join
Yeah.
them. And
Well,
that
and you
was
did.
the,
You did tell the
the
teacher of our hero class, which is the class that's supposed to teach us about having a job and dealing with people that we don't like. And she was like,
right?
you're in the wrong class. You're going to have
Yeah.
to work with her. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't a very bright
Because we
one.
had to get a job for part of
It
the
never
grade.
even
So, yeah.
It
What?
never occurred to me that it was that's where the whole selfish part came in. Like, I'm
Mhm.
protecting me. This is me, and how dare you tell me
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, kind of thing. That was kind of
Mhm.
my chip on my shoulder I had all through high school anyway. But then she played a good role in it too by telling me that I couldn't. You're not going to tell me what to do. You will work with this girl. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So what was it? A month later, I walked up and said, "Hey, something about I made something up to ask you about an assignment in school because I figured, like I said, if you can't beat them, join them."
Yeah.
And that was the first step. One of us had to
Well,
make
I
it.
want to, yeah, I want to back up to talk about in school suspension, ISS, if for
Oh,
whoever doesn't know
yes.
what that means. So we had an English teacher and a drama teacher who we both adored, and he was one of the best teachers that we had. And he did not like the fact that we had gotten into a fight and that we were not friends anymore. He,
Yes.
more than anything, wanted us to be friends.
Yeah.
And I can specifically remember us being in ISS and him coming in, because wasn't it like the end of the year and we had to take our finals in there?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
the week before finals. We had our fight
Yeah.
was on a Thursday or Friday. We had Monday off. We had Tuesday and Wednesday of finals. So we were going to be in our fight was on a Tuesday. So we had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in school suspension, then Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and then Tuesday and Wednesday were finals. So we spent the last week of school
Okay.
in school suspension. And it was
Yeah.
that teacher,
So
the teacher that you're talking about. It was
Yeah.
his class that we had just left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I didn't remember that. But I remember him walking into the ISS room and we were sitting in desks across the room from each other because obviously we didn't want to sit next to each other. And I remember him taking two desks and sitting them facing each other and told you to sit in one and told me to sit in one. And he tried everything in his power to get us to talk again. Like I can remember him saying, you guys don't want to do this. You've been friends for too long. You can't just give up on it now. And we were both like, I don't ever want to talk to her again. I don't want to have anything to do with her. She's this, she's that, blah, blah, blah. I can remember that teacher completely trying to get us to make up. And I mean, we were having no part of it, obviously, because we didn't talk for the entire summer. But that poor man, he probably thought about it all summer too. Like that was probably the one thing he thought about all summer was, I can't believe they're not going to be friends anymore.
Okay, so now that same teacher, do you remember the first time he saw us walking together? That look on his face was
I will
priceless.
never forget it. Yeah,
I won't
will
either.
Never forget that look ever.
Just him, like, what?
Yeah.
What happened here? Like it was perfect. It was
like
perfect.
It was like shock at first. Like I remember him doing like a double take. Like he looked up and then looked down and then looked up again. Like, wait, what? And then just sheer happiness on his face.
Yep.
Like sheer happiness from this man that thank God you guys are friends again. I am so happy. Like I will never I think I just gave myself goosebumps thinking about it.
Yep.
But
and the thing about that, he to this day is he still, I'm not sure that he is still around.
Yeah, I don't know
for some reason I feel like I heard that he is no longer with us. But he was a fantastic teacher, and it was neat to see the joy on his face when, I mean, he knew us all through school. He was there. It was right after his class. I mean, he must have felt a connection with us anyway, because we were a big part of, I mean, the drama world and all that. So,
and it was his class that we got a pass out of to go smoke. And we got caught doing that by the security guard, and we tried to think of this elaborate plan. We went back to class, we outran, I don't even know how we outran anything, because I run. So we outran her back to the classroom, thinking she's not going to know where we are, which was dumb because we're in school. They know where we are, like, duh. But I can remember sitting in the classroom thinking, okay, I have an extra shirt in my locker. You can change into it, and then we can do this. And then next, what do we hear?
Knock, knock,
on the door. And I was like, God damn it. She found us. We didn't get in trouble we didn't get in too much trouble for that, but that I can remember that too. And that was that same teacher's class. I think it was maybe English or drama that time, but we had him for both, for English and for drama. We did. So but it was, he did definitely play he was a big part. I mean, he knew us all 4 years of high school, so it's only fitting that he would be the one to see us and go and have that reaction, and so it was good. But that awesome fight, like I said, that fight, it had to happen. It had to. Something had to happen of that magnitude, because you and I couldn't seem to get past it. We couldn't get past the frustration and the argumentative part. Every time we were together, it was an argument about anything and nothing at all. Yeah. So it's almost like that fight was eye-opening, and since then we really haven't even had, I mean, a little tiff here and there, if that, but nothing to really write home about. No. Like, I don't think that we've had an argument or a disagreement, for that matter. I mean, we're pretty open and honest with each other, and we pretty much, we would expect nothing less but the truth from each other.
Exactly.
So I don't think that there's ever been, but I do agree with you that that fight definitely needed to happen. And I'm glad that it happened. Like, I wasn't glad at the time, but I'm glad that it happened.
Of course.
It's one of those things that just kind of, it either changes it for the better, it changes it for the bad. Lucky for us, it changed it for the better. I think we were pretty much inseparable our senior year. And
I wouldn't have had it any other way. From then on. Yeah. And I do think, over the course of graduation and from that point to now, I mean, we've had our moments where our friendship's gone up and down as far as communication, like keeping in touch goes. Because there for a while, you and I were on different levels. I started having babies sooner than you. So in that respect, we didn't have a whole lot in common. But you caught up with me right away, and it's been now since since Nathan and Katie, we have been, I mean, we were close anyway, but now with you having Nathan and Ian, now that has definitely brought things closer together, because Katie and Dylan and my kids, it's now we have 500 billion more things to talk about. So it was a good thing.
And then we have that issue of you moving to the Arctic, but that's another episode. Anyway.
Yes, and that's another episode.
So we were gonna try and transition or talk a little bit about bullying, but I think that could probably be another episode all on its own, because that's definitely
Agreed.
a topic that you and I both have had experience with, especially you. So I definitely want to give that its due time. So I don't want to talk about that right now for this episode, but the next episode, episode 4, can you believe it? Episode
Yay!
4. I'm so excited. We have, I guess, just some updates for what when we're, let's put it this way, when we're recording this episode 3, we are still trying to put everything together. Like, we're still trying to learn all the tricks and trades and getting artwork and music and, all that.
Yep.
I did not, when I first said to you, let's do a podcast, I thought, let's just plug something in, let's record and let's go. Like, lo and behold, did I not know that there was a lot more that goes into this podcasting stuff than I knew about. But it's been fun nonetheless.
Most definitely fun.
Yeah, as we're recording this episode, we have our new artwork down that you see when you go to click on our podcast, and that was done by a friend of mine. All freehand, all watercolor, which I think is pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
So,
and she did excellent work.
Oh yes, I'm so incredibly happy with it. So I think on our next episode, we're going to start on our adventures with our favorite boy band, New Kids on the Block. We are going to be fangirling a little bit, so you're going to hear a lot of giggling and a lot of, oh my god, he's so cute.
And Who Kissed Donnie Wahlberg, and how many pictures we've had, and
yeah, it's definitely been a wild and crazy ride, and I wouldn't change a moment of it. We've met a lot of great people through this experience, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And it's going to be in a couple episodes, so because there's a lot of stories, so we're not going to get all into them in one episode. But
all right, then.
Let's end the episode with, tell me something positive that happened to you this week, or that you saw, anything like that. Something good that happened this week.
Okay, so I have, as you guys know, and I've said it several times now, I have 4 kids, and their ages are 22, 17. Tomorrow I will have a 14-year-old and then a 12-year-old. And my 12-year-old, he is a basketball fanatic. He can tell you stats. He can, if you're having a conversation with him, it's going to be about basketball. So yesterday he had a home game, and I go to the home games, of course, and I've gone to some of the away games, but I went to his home game yesterday, and watching him play and seeing how far he's come, it was so much fun to watch him fake people out, and he made a basket, and that made his day. It was just the joy on his face because he's doing something he truly loves to do. I mean, this kid wants to play pro when he gets older. So it was just, that was my amazing moment. It was just neat to see him so happy about making it. They didn't win. Their team lost by, I think it was less than 10 points, but D got a basket, and that was important, and that was good. So that was my good positive thing for the week. I would say that was it. What was yours?
It's always great to see your kids accomplish something that they've worked really hard at and that they're passionate about.
100%.
I have one of mine that can be passionate about things. I have another one that just could care less about anything if it doesn't include the computer or Xbox. But anyway, that's a whole another issue.
There's another, that's another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode in its own. The horrible invention called the Xbox. I'm telling you right now. Anyway.
That one I may actually spike my coffee while we're talking about it. Because, I'm on the same page with you with that. So I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
don't mean to keep interrupting. Go ahead. Tell
it's
me
okay.
your.
So I think my positive thing is I had my year-end review at work,
Yes.
and I always go into my reviews expecting the worst. Like I have issues with self-doubt, so I'm always worried about whether I'm doing a good job, or do they like me? Am I doing everything wrong? Like constantly I'm thinking that.
Yep.
And
Man, I'm
we
so
had
with you
a
on that.
switch. Yeah, we had a switch in management at work, and I'm truly happy for that switch. I'm really going to, I think, enjoy working for the new manager. And she was the one that did my review, and I was pleasantly surprised. I got good marks. There were things that I need to work on, which I already knew. It wasn't anything I was not expecting. And it's just good to walk out of a review. And I also, they ask about your goals and where you see yourself going. And I'm a junior processor right now. I don't think I want to be a senior processor. I've gone down that road before, didn't really care for it too much. So I brought up wanting to train new employees because I honestly and truly love to train, and I'm good at it. And I've been told I'm good at it. I did it a lot when I was at my other job. So I mentioned that to her and said, this is what I would like to do. And she was like, really? You like to train? Because not many people like to train. Not many people are patient enough to train people. And I said, I absolutely love to train. It's one of my favorite things to do. And she was like, okay, I'm putting your name down for them to shadow. You are going to be training. So I was like, yes. So that was really a good thing for me because I don't want to be a senior processor, but I'd like to stay with the company if I can, if I could make a little bit more money, and maybe become part of the training team and train people that come into the company, would be a great thing if that could be possible. So that was my positive for the week.
Man, that's excellent. I did not know that. I'm so proud of you. That's great. And you
Thanks.
know what?
Yeah, it was
That will
cool.
restore some of your some I mean, you get into I think we all get into our jobs and just get complacent and bored and I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yep.
you know that I started my job 9 months ago. So it's still new to me and nothing about it is easy yet because it's still new. I'm learning. Every single
Yeah.
day I'm learning something new. But I think that people who've been in their jobs for a long time, they become complacent. And they get bored and they start to hate what they
Mm-hmm.
do and they dread going to work. And now you telling her
Yeah.
that she's going to give you something else to look forward to. I think that's excellent. Good for you.
Well, and it's given me, because I kind of was getting to that point where I'm kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's not that I don't like where I
Yeah.
work, because I like where I work and I love the people I work with. But I just kind of was like, I'm just kind of bored of this industry, and I don't really want to do this anymore. And I knew that I
Right.
didn't want to move up to the next position. So I just kind of was like, what am I going to do? And now that I've had this talk with her and she was very receptive to it and ready to let me be a part of it, it kind of has made me want to do my job better and learn more. And we just moved into a new system. So I need to learn this system so I can train. So it's kind of given me a little bit more pep in my step, and I'm like ready to, you know, start doing my job better. So it definitely really was a good thing. And I'm very happy that I mentioned it and that I brought it up and I didn't just keep it to myself, because, she was like, I didn't know this about you. We haven't worked closely together. She's like, I had no idea. I was like, well, the other manager didn't know either because she never talked to me. So, what are you going to do? So,
Well, good. All
yeah.
right.
So, all right.
Good
I
for
guess
you.
we're
I'm happy.
done with episode 3. Yay!
Yay!
I know
So
I've said that
hopefully,
like 4
really
times.
so
I'm excited.
hopefully, really, really soon, we will get this out there, and you guys, I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from everybody to find out
Yes.
how we're doing and what we can do better and what you'd like to hear about. So, yeah.
There will be more information in coming episodes, so keep listening and you will hear all the updates coming up and where you can find us and reach us and all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed our episode 3, and we will see you in episode 4. Bye.
Bye.